It takes a talent, expertise, perseverance, and an innovative spirit to invent a technology that changes a global industry. Phillip Mackey has done it not once, but twice.
I think Phillip is highly creative. He thrives on building and innovation. He's got curiosity. Phillip has got a capacity to transform whatever he touches. Very few Canadians who have commercialized not one but two processes that have transformed how copper is produced worldwide.
Phil was an innovator, and this is best exemplified as one of the patent holders for the Noranda process and the Noranda converter. The Noranda process was the first continuous process for smelting and converting copper from concentrates, and this uniquely Canadian invention remains today one of the main technologies used by the copper industry around the world.
It takes more than the knowledge of mathematics, chemistry, and physics to create an invention. Phillip is the first to say it's teamwork that leads to success.
I was part of an outstanding team, and I don't think you could want anything better. Doing something you like, surrounded by a team of people that were equally supportive, and a management that definitely supported us.
Born in a suburb of Sydney, Australia, Phillip showed signs early on that he was destined for great things. An outstanding student, he was the top of his class at school. Encouraged to study metallurgy by his father and inspired by professors, Phillip graduated with a PhD from the University of New South Wales.
For my PhD thesis, I was working on a substantial pilot plant on lead-zinc metallurgy as part of a new process that Dr. Warner was developing. This was my first introduction, can I say, to innovative process metallurgy, and then I found my niche. In those days, before computers, a lot of our work was done on what's called a slide rule. And as part of my degree, the university had one of the first IBM computers, and it was probably about the size of an average garage. That was my first introduction to computers.
Word of Phillip's work reached Noranda, and he was asked to join their team at the Research Center in Montreal. From there, he was transferred to Rouen, Noranda.
I arrived at Noranda at a very exciting time. The winter of 1969, the copper industry had several problems: high fossil fuel usage, environmental controls were rather poor, and Noranda was leading the way to radically change the industry and the technology. I was pilot plant supervisor, running the first of the new copper smelting processes. I later worked on other aspects of the process, actually including groundbreaking work Noranda did on behavior of metals like gold and silver, various other minor metals.
His reputation was that of an incredibly innovative leader. People respected him. Not easy to do the kind of technical work that he did, to commercialize a process, to go through the entire challenges of building a process that is now used worldwide. And I think he likes a challenge that is significant, that has high risk. So he has a penchant for risk taking. He goes for the big projects that have maybe high failure, and his inner tenacity to stick with it and to make things happen, I think, is what stands out for me with Phillip.
Phillip is a walking repository of knowledge on metallurgy. He is a prolific producer of technical papers, having published over 100.
There's a lot in the public domain, but there's a lot that's not in the public domain. I could show you hundreds of reports here that we have in the database from him. So those are all, company know-how and things like that. So we've contributed a lot to the industry.
Phillip has received many awards for his work and holds the patent for the Noranda converter. He also spent many volunteer hours with the Canadian Institute of Mining, Metallurgy and Petroleum as president of its Metallurgical Society from 1983 to 1985.
Management believed that through collaboration and exchange that we could learn as much as we provide. And this certainly turned out to be the case.
Phillip was also key in establishing the World Copper Conference, which began in Chile in 1987. The Phillip Mackey Symposium was held in his honor at the 2019 Copper Conference in Vancouver.
I hope that it's improved the technology through the spread of knowledge, because I think the spread of knowledge is important.
Phillip is also known as a great mentor. He spent a year as a professor of metallurgy at Laurentian University, inspiring students who went on to reach impressive heights in the industry.
I mean, he's been a very good coach. He has trained many engineers, so he's made a tremendous contribution there.
During his career, Phillip has visited over 80 countries and more than 100 metallurgical operations. He has no thoughts of retiring and is still actively contributing to the industry. He attributes his continued interest in the field, in part, to the enthusiasm of students. He was recently awarded the John Elliott Lecture Series. His first lecture was in Toronto.
It created a lot of interest and enthusiasm, and I find that, very challenging and inspiring. So why wouldn't we keep doing that?
Phil is one of the finest metallurgical engineers of his generation in Canada. His professional achievements are second to none. He stands out as a wonderful ambassador for the Canadian mining and metallurgical industry.
In 2010, after retiring from Xstrata, Phillip and his wife Angèle formed PJ Mackey Technology Inc., at which they both still work today.
Soon after I left Xstrata, and I started working with a junior mining company called Horizonte Minerals, developing a nickel project in Brazil. The nickel plant will be built this year. It'll be one of the few new nickel plants. So it's been a very exciting development and working with some very, very capable people.